bitches was coming at you about choking because they had too much ammo for you. So it's like, I wasn't there. Now, damn sure ain't gonna come to somebody about they.
There was a noticeable tension in the room. Though the cameras were rolling, the lights were bright, and the crew was present, a storm was building beneath the surface of what was supposed to be a routine taping of the popular reality show. However, for Yandy and Rasheeda, everything around them seemed to fade into the background, leaving them alone in a battle that had been building for a long time. Yandy had always been a strong woman, but tonight the weight of her calm was challenged because she had always been at the center of their drama. But it had never been this intense or personal, and now that everything was in the spotlight, it felt like everything was falling apart. For years, Rasheeda had been a constant in Yun's life as a companion and confidant, but their connection with MDC had always been complex. There was no doubting the irrefutable bond between Rasheeda and M, a shared past that had constantly simmered just beneath the surface. But after many say got involved with Yandy, things started to change. Rasheeda initially tried to be supportive, but soon she began to doubt M's loyalty and the decisions he was making. Now that the cameras were recording every second, Yandy could feel the heat rising in her chest as Rasheeda's words cut through the air with a sharp and biting edge. It wasn't just the typical teasing or the lighthearted banter that had characterized their friendship was genuine. Over time, Rasheeda's contempt for Minnie's decisions had increased, and now she wasn't holding back. Instead, every glance and remark appeared to be directed at Yandy, as though her relationship with Minnie was somehow a personal betrayal. Are you really going to sit here and defend him, Yandy? Rasheeda's tone was one of incredulity. You are still going to act like he's your king in shining armor after everything he's done. Although Yun's blood was boiling, she held. She forced herself to keep her feelings in check, even though she knew that now was not the time to do so. It seemed like an attack on her, as though Rasheeda was doubting her judgment, her decisions, and everything that had brought her to this point. Why do you always have something to say about Minnie? Rasheeda had always been ready to point out N's shortcomings and blame him for their issues. Although Yun's remarks were solid, the emotion and frustration she had been suppressing caused her voice to shake. Don't sit here and try to act like you know what's best for me. I'm the one who has to deal with his mistakes, baggage, and past. You've been in this relationship for far too long. Spilled out, Yandy yelled. Rasheeda laughed and rolled her eyes, but Yandy wasn't done yet. She had reached her breaking point. This wasn't the moment to back down, especially when her life was at stake. You've always had your opinions, but you've been observing from the sidelines, criticizing him and me. Has never been in our position. You don't know what we've been through, what I've had to forgive, and yet here you are acting like you have all the answers, said Yandy, her voice getting louder with every syllable. There was an electric tension between the two women, the atmosphere heavy with spoken animosity and unsolved problems. Rasheeda's presence in M's life had stoked a deeper rivalry and unacknowledged jealousy that had been simmering for years. It was no longer just about me. Always cast a pall over Yandy's connection with him. The face of Rasheeda, her eyes narrowed in anger as she shot back. You think you're the only one who's had to deal with this mess. You think I don't know what it's like to be in a relationship with someone who's always making mistakes. And he's hurt both of us, and I'm tired of seeing you pretend like he's changed. You're letting him drag you down, Yandy. For a brief moment, the words hit Yandy like a slap in the face. She wanted to strike out and scream at Rasheeda for all the suffering she had caused, but she refused to give anyone the satisfaction of witnessing her break inside because the world was watching and the cameras were on them. Instead, it seemed like everything was collapsing. M's era, you had tried to keep everything together for so long, but today it felt like the dam was about to burst due to Rasheeda's incessant meddling and the turmoil that had always accompanied them. Their argument broke out and their voices became more acrimonious. As accusations flew, the crew watched in the background, unsure of how to step in, knowing that they were seeing a relationship fall apart, a struggle for respect and control that had been building for years, and that there was ultimately no clear way to resolve the conflict. Yandy bounded away. angry and worn out while the cameras continued to record the fallout as Rasheeda's rage simmered beneath the surface. But for Yandy, the real battle had just begun. It wasn't just about M's or Rasheeda's, it was about figuring out how to deal with the mess that had become her life and whether she could trust anyone, including herself, again. It appears that Yandy may have lost her fight to keep her family together, and rumors are circulating that Mies is tired of referring to her as his wife and has returned at last to Erica, the love of his life. To be honest, this issue is becoming quite ugly, with some even claiming that they may have actually been married. It's no secret that Yandy's pride is the only thing keeping her in this marriage, and now that Minnie has moved in with Erica, it appears that she has completely lost control for herself. In addition to calling me out for hurting her feelings, Yandy is also giving Erica a clear warning to leave her man, or else it will be obvious when they meet. If you haven't heard of this tea yet, have a seat and allow me to explain. Mendy Sees was released from prison earlier this year after serving time for drug-related offenses. During his incarceration, Yandy did everything she could to keep the family united and strong, managing everything alone with Minnie's support. We all believe that after all the effort and sacrifice she made while he was in prison, Yandy would finally be able to enjoy her marriage. Marriage effort, including attending therapy to resolve their relationship's problems. But as they say, once a cheater, always a cheater. Rather than returning Yandy's loyalty for keeping the family together, Macy's chose to move on to Yandy's fiercest rival, Erica, in case you missed it. Minnie's refusal to set boundaries with Erica, if you've been following the relationship, is the obvious reason why Erica and Yandy have been at odds for years. Triangle formed by Minnie, Yandy has been in denial about her marriage's state for a long time. She knows that Mies is still seeing Erica and hasn't been completely honest with her, but her pride and arrogance make her think she's the only woman in his life. She's excellent at acting like everything is fine, but we all know that things aren't as they seem. Erica was with M long before Yandy entered the picture. Demonstrate my genuine concern for Erica, his first baby mama. When things weren't going well for Minnie's, he needed someone stable and a loving partner. Samantha disclosed that Erica was one of the few women he truly loved. Erica herself revealed that she and MSCs had once lived together, had matching passports, traveled together, and even met his entire family. She was devoted to him, even helping to care for his first child when Samantha wasn't there. A sound strategy for the future. Despite his marriage to Yandy, Mies continued to communicate with Erica. Now that he is out of prison and financially stable, there are rumors that he dumped Yandy and moved out of their home to start a new relationship with Erica. If we're being honest, I don't think Yandy deserves the treatment she's receiving from Mindy Says because she held him down, fixed all of his problems, and got herself embroiled in baby mama turmoil. He told her that he was in the marriage out of duty, not love, without hesitation. He even acknowledged that if their roles had been reversed, he never would have supported her or held the family down the way she did for him. She tolerated MC's mother's disrespect and worked hard to raise his children.
Them bitches was coming at you about children because they had too much ammo for you. So it's like, I wasn't there. Now, damn sure ain't gonna come to somebody about they.
Mendy felt that something needed to be done, so he went to his mother, Judy, who unrepentantly defended her behavior by claiming that she had been provoked. However, Mendy was convinced that Judy had crossed a line, so he told her, "I love you, but I can't let this continue." He asked Judy to leave, emphasizing that respect was non-negotiable, even though he understood his decision and had to put his family's safety and stability before letting her remain in his home. Although Judy Furious felt duped by the transfer, she thought it would be a wake-up call. The family suffered emotionally as a result of her having to change her ways when Judy left. While Mendy showed battled remorse despite standing by his position, Yandy confided in her close friends about the fight and expressed her frustration with the continued hostility with Judy for the mess she shared. "I've always tried to make things work, but I can't continue to tolerate this disrespect in my own home." In a private moment, he told a close friend that even though he loved his mother, He couldn't let her hurt the person he had chosen to spend the rest of his life with. He started to question whether he could have handled the situation differently. However, Judy turned to her own support system to vent her anger and disappointment since she felt disconnected from her son and believed Yandy was playing a game. She sobbed as she revealed, "I raised him. How can he choose me over him?" Yandy and Judy's. This dramatic moment has added another layer of complexity to the ongoing story of the Harris family, highlighting the challenges of finding a balance between love, loyalty, and respect in a blended family. The conflict affected not only their immediate family but also the final cast of Love Hip Hop. Other cast members from Atlanta shared their thoughts, with some expressing support for Yandy and others understanding Judy's perspective as a mother feeling marginalized. Whether Judy and Yandy would reconcile or grow apart as the season progressed intrigued fans. While many hoped to witness moments of healing, others were skeptical due to the persistent issues that seemed to plague the household. There is little doubt that the drama in this home is far from over and that many see Yandy and Judy's journey ahead will not be easy due to the ongoing problems. For years, they negotiate the difficult terrain of love, loyalty, and family obligations. On Love and Hip Hop New York, MC Harris and Yandy Smith have been the quintessential strong and united couple. Despite a number of obstacles, such as MC's legal issues and a lengthy jail sentence, the pair stayed devoted to one another as they negotiated the murky waters of fame, family, and scrutiny, garnering praise for their relationship. However, as is frequently the case in the entertainment industry, although appearances can be deceiving, there were actually cracks in their seemingly perfect relationship that seemed to have widened into a chasm after M's revelation. The first indication of trouble came when M's took to social media with mysterious posts that implied everything was wrong in his marriage. Fans conjectured about the meaning of his posts, but no one could have predicted the storm that was building. Days later, Mendy released a video that left everyone in disbelief. Mendy purported that Carlos King, a producer known for his work on popular reality TV shows, has a close professional relationship with Yandy, but MC claims their relationship goes far beyond work. MC's claims were not made lightly, as he shared screenshots of emails and texts he claimed were between Yandy and Carlos. He claimed that these messages revealed a level of intimacy that transcends professional boundaries, using phrases like, "I can't stop thinking about you and our relationship." Spending time together leaves little room for imagination, which feeds the flames. Additionally, M's displayed a number of pictures that he said were shot during confidential meetings between Yandy and Carlos. However, some contended the pictures might be innocent men's photos. A different picture was painted by C's interpretation. In a live-streamed video, Yandy responded to these charges by expressing her grief over DC's decision to share their personal problems and denying any misconduct. She publicly acknowledged that she was close to Carlos King, but she strongly denied that their friendship was romantic. Carlos has served as a friend and mentor. Despite her denials, Yandy stated that it is unfair and painful to take our working connection and turn it into something it isn't. I've always supported MDs through everything, so to be accused like this feels like a betrayal of the trust we've developed as the charges gather traction, as Yandy's tone indicated. Carlos. In a well-crafted statement, King broke his silence and denied having an improper relationship with Yandy. "My relationship with Yandy has always been professional," he said. According to Carlos, these accusations are unfounded and without merit. Carlos also said, "I've worked with Yandy for years, and I've always respected her as a professional and a friend. I hope that many C's and Yandy can resolve this privately." He was disappointed to be drawn into a marital argument. The repercussions of these accusations have prolonged beyond MDC and Yandy's relationship. Their kids, who have frequently appeared on Love and Hip Hop, are currently the focus of a media frenzy. Some family and friends have supported the couple, while others have advised them to seek treatment. The pair's supporters are split. Given her history of supporting Many says during his legal battle, Some contend that Yandy deserves the benefit of the doubt, but others believe MC's claims based on the facts he gave. Issues, although the particulars of this case are distinct, relationships under scrutiny frequently have underlying problems. For MCs and Yandy, fame, distance, and public scrutiny can worsen pre-existing issues and cause new ones. The increased strain of reality TV has surely contributed to their current situation, and social media's impact cannot be disregarded by taking their concerns into consideration. Millions of individuals have been asked to comment on a very personal issue through public forums, but the drama has been intensified, and it has also prompted inquiries about the limits of privacy in the era of digital transparency. As of right now, it is unclear what the future holds for M's and Yandy's relationship. Both say they want to prioritize family, but reconciliation will be difficult. Once trust is broken, it is hard to regain, and the fact that their problems are public adds even more complexity for fans. It is hoped that many will see this and that Yandy will find a way to move on, whether that means whether the couple chooses to remain together or part ways peacefully. Providing a secure home for their kids while dealing with the fallout from these revelations will probably take precedence. Initially appearing to be a typical family meal, the fateful evening soon became strained. Mendy's son interrupted the conversation and dropped the bombshell with a mixture of exasperation and rage. The room was silent as everyone sought to comprehend Yandy's remarks. "You are to blame for Yandy cheating on you." As the accusation weighed heavily on the air, everyone's attention was drawn to Mendy and Yandy, who denied the allegations right away. Her voice was shaking with a mixture of hurt and rage, asking, "Where is this even coming from?" She demanded to keep her cool, but the son persisted in accusing her of betraying the family and blaming me for not being a strong enough father or husband. Stunned by the audacity of his son's remarks, I attempted to defuse the situation, but it remained. In an attempt to exert control, he raised his voice and demanded evidence for the ridiculous claim, saying, "If you're going to accuse Yandy of something this serious, you better have proof." His tone was calm but strained, but the son was beyond reasoning. He yelled, "You've always been so caught up in your own issues that you couldn't even see what's been happening right under your nose." The argument quickly turned heated. The son's anger was fueled by her words, "Love this family. You've been tearing it apart, and he's too blind to see it." The argument escalated to the point where Mendy felt his authority as the head of the household was being undermined. Anger and resentment were fired back with ambiguous insinuations and emotional jabs, and Yandy, unable to contain her emotions, broke down in tears. Yandy gasped. Others turned away, and the son, holding his face, stared at his father in shock as he realized the seriousness of what had just transpired. In a fit of uncontrollable rage, he struck his son physically, causing the room to go silent. Mendy tried to contain his emotions, saying, "I can't believe it's come to this," in a voice full of remorse. Yandy, who was still crying, consoled him while she battled her own suffering. Son, who was far from a repentant young man, refused to back down and said, "I love you, but I can't let this kind of disrespect continue in my home." His voice was firm but sorrowful, and he decided to ask his son to leave, saying, "You need time to think about what you've done. Maybe some space will help you understand." The son, who was clearly hurt, packed his belongings and asked to leave, abandoned without saying anything else. There was a lot of anxiety and silence in the days after the occurrence. Although Yandy supported M's choice, she couldn't hide her anguish, telling a friend, "I feel like I've lost a part of my family, and I don't know if we can ever heal from this." DC also struggled with his emotions, asking out loud, "Did I do the right thing?" and seeking comfort in talks with his closest confidants. "I feel like I failed as a husband and father since I had to defend my wife and my house." As word of the family crisis grew among fans of love and hip-hop, the father's remorse was overwhelming, and he realized it would be difficult to mend the relationship with his son. Atlanta residents were ready to voice their opinions, and social media was inundated with responses that ranged from sorrow for MC's son to support for him. One admirer commented that he had to do what he had to do to preserve his wife's respect, but others chastised him for using physical force, saying that striking your son is never the solution, regardless of the circumstances. Read a different comment. Some viewers question Yandy's involvement in the family dynamics as a result of the incident. The family has always been held together by Yandy, but this might be too much for her. A fan wrote that the Harris family's struggles to manage their private suffering in the public eye were made worse by the conflict, but Yandy remained committed to repairing his broken family. Must not allow this to be the. In the meantime, Yandy was instrumental in bridging the gap. He told a friend that after his son's absence, he reached out through mutual connections to have an honest conversation. "We need to talk face to face and figure out how to move forward," he said. "You both love each other. You just need to find a way to communicate without all the anger," she urged. As the season goes on, many observe that her constant assistance and mediation attempts have turned into a beacon of hope for the family. Viewers will determine if the Harris family can mend the damage. One thing is certain, the Harris family's journey is far from over. Their story continues to captivate audiences by providing a raw and unfiltered look at the challenges and victories of navigating love and loyalty in a blended family. The dramatic confrontation and its aftermath serve as a powerful reminder of the complexities of family relationships. Mace asks Yandy why she's making all these significant actions without him. In the end, Yandy retreats, acting like a lost puppy who is constantly straying, and she starts to realize that she doesn't need Mace for anything. The fact that she never filed the required paperwork for their marriage just serves to highlight her persistent cunning. Despite her claims of faithfulness and commitment, Yandy won't let him spoil her bag if her business succeeds or if Mace becomes an even bigger burden for them both at the Grammy Awards and on their show Love Hip Hop. People don't think those lines were written by that little mouse. When the camera stopped rolling, Yandy stops acting like the devoted wife. Some people say children you didn't push or spit out will always end up like this. Yandy nurtured this adorable child by herself when his father was in jail, and this is what she gets in return. You're playing too much with this child who isn't biologically yours, Mace makes clear. Do you guys think Yandy might be cheating on Mace, or are we just assuming he's trying to quietly convey that they dislike you? Some say, I hope you found this video entertaining, and I hope to see you in the future one.